dark web stuff.
No, that's illegal. I did not find anything about this player. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't exist. I certainly could simply have been looking in the wrong places, but I'm excited because I'm always eager to see new people brought in like that.
And apparently we need to go to Nemo.tv.
Really?
Apparently the 3 separate players from INTZ are telling us, so that's apparently what we need to do.
All right, I didn't realize you were so susceptible to suggestion. Went to the draft phase, it will be Aram and Bennett. D2 give me 20 bucks as Elsu and Florentino opposed them.
Why am I giving you 20 bucks?
It did, it was like a subliminal message.
Oh, right. You slipped that in there very surreptitiously.
The net removed as well. This is a lot of support bans out for INTZ.
Yeah, extremely opposite bans here from both teams as, yeah, all supports bans coming out from INTZ and all, side lane slash, damage dealers, assassins here coming out from Kareem.
The Samurai getting first pick, very strong mage currently. We have seen counters to that, particularly the Kali. Are you looking for that here?
Very much so. Looks like they're going to start off with a different focus here. Wonder Woman seen a lot in the jungle these days, and looks like Latin America's picked it up as well.
But we haven't seen Wonder Woman being picked that early that often.
No, and that does indicate that they're looking for a little bit more of a brawl, particularly with the Omen coming through as well. Opposing them, this jungle should be a Murad if that gets locked in. That will be a jungle Murad, presumably. The Alice coming through in the support role.
I want to talk about Matt's point for a moment here, that sometimes when you see standard picks early, that means that they're looking to counter later on rather than going with their own style. They're looking to be reactive with the draft rather than going for the most powerful picks earlier on.
The Crashed and Malik certainly feed into that strategy as they built up a very tanky front line to deal with the Murad. It's going to be a lot of CC engage.
We're missing a mage and we're missing an ADC on the side of Kareem. It's a little bit too beefy for my taste.
It's beefy is a great description for this.
No, I love this. This is so much CC. This is going to be Flash in as the final mage role. So they've got that big Cyclone, and if everyone's pulled together, can I tell you about my Lord and Savior Malik? Because the shock comes through on top. There's a stun and a double slow. You can also use the rushing water from the Metamorphosis to actually push people through the shock crater, applying the stun, and then, hey, if they're all stunned together, what if you could have the Bracelets of Submission from the Wonder Woman? There are legitimately more stuns than should be legal on this Cream Esports roster.
Unfortunately, we're not in training mode, and you can't just tell them to stand there while you do that to them.
No, but I do think that's a really good combo if they can make that happen, particularly given the lighter weight of many of the characters opposing them. There's not going to be too much HP, except for maybe the Xennial.
We've seen this story many times before. We have a thick front line, people who need to get into a 5v5 team fight in order to work, and then you see those annoying little heroes on the other side flitting around and killing you all the while.
Yeah. And that might be the problem. If they're not able to chain down those annoying little characters, then it'll be very difficult, particularly with the Telenas coming through. The Telenas is very good at killing tanks. But the Tel doesn't have very much mobility, and they're playing into a lot of engage burst mobility. You need to be able to stay alive and away from the Crash and the Malik when they ult in.
I think a lot has to come down to the Wonder Woman and the Flash. Those are the heroes that can immediately jump onto the Telenas. Someone like Malik, there's Malik and the Crash, with the shock and the Metamorphosis, there's a bit of a warning period. Like, I'm coming to get you with my ultimate, and Telenas can walk away in that time because presumably she's in a good position. Meanwhile, Flash and Wonder Woman can jump on them right away using either the Lasso of Truth or the dash in from the Flash. So I think it's up to them to catch the Telenas. If the Telenas lives, they win the game from INTZ.
So if you have to call it the CC train or the lightweight ADCs, who wins?
Every time this happens, it feels like the lightweights win, so I'm going to go with them.
I'm on the train. Choo-choo.
It's being kind of established here that the marksman picks and the ADC side of things does get it done, doesn't it? Let's find out if it will here. Welcome, INTZ and Cream Esports Club to the Valor series.
I just want to see it work once. I've decided I don't actually really care if Cream win. I just want them to be able to land the full ult chain once. Because can you imagine how frustrating it would be?
Right. It's in a utopian world, right? When all of your stuns hit at exactly the right moment, but not going to happen this time. They are getting a nice invade, though.
There'll be a lot of pressure coming through. Oh, Mixer J in trouble. Gret actually landing the lasso to do a lot of early game damage. They don't quite have the punish, but they would have if Ray had hung round.
And Mixer J playing on, taking even more damage, playing on the side lane traditionally, now showing that aggression on the support could be very useful for the team. He's able to soak some of that damage up for the Telenos, but right now has to go ahead and recall back.
There's a lot of disruption tools. I know I've talked about this, but I'm really kind of factoring in the Omen now as well. It's going to be very difficult to keep the backline Fusion in particular safe.
Padaria.
There's damage coming through onto Padaria. They've got a lot of HP, but they're cut off. There's almost no way to... Arco! Padaria! Those moves are sick!
He's got the moves. Padaria goes through the bush, comes back out the other side, and he's nowhere to be found.
Moonwalking past the entire team!
I never knew that Xenial was a Michael Jackson fan, but apparently he's got it. He's got those moves.
That was insane. Able to slip through in the bush, and now Arco, who was just baited out so masterfully, needs to regroup towards the mid lane. The gold lead, though, for the early game should have shifted in Cream Esports' favor. It was taken away by INTZ off of one invade.
Well, this is the issue. These big bodies coming from Cream, they're just chasing them around and they're just running away.
Here's the Abyssal, low HP on it. Arcall to contest, and Myth annihilates it with a nice use in the Temporal Turbulence. Fusion will chase down the Malik. Watch the bot lane as that Malik narrowly escapes for now. I think the Malik spent the flicker. That means Frey's up for grabs. He's got the Soul Eater, but he doesn't have the life steal. Neo's there for the trade. Big damage from the Mark Punch. There's a nice Angelic Splendor. Arcall, you've overextended, and INTZ's plant down their flag as they go 2 kills up in the early game.
Big blunders from Cream here. They didn't have their ultimates. TJ, why are they taking a fight? They thought they were punishing them for being in their jungle, but they just had to sit there and take it. Unfortunately, they took death instead.
Benja did get a little bit of poke and trade up top, but that was only a little bit. Now the rest of the team's playing back as the Hissy been deployed. Gret's in big trouble. The damage comes through. Neo could not get out onto the wave. The tower will live at half HP as the minion wave was cleared.
Oh my goodness, they want more INTZ into the jungle.
INTZ continuing to commit to this fight up top. Benja does fall. That will be Arcall through as well. Very low as INTZ have gotten rolling.
Early game Sephira killing an Omen? What in the world is happening, TJ?
You said they needed a utopian world. They've seized the means of disruption. Cream Esports are in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, they're not getting that utopian world anytime soon. Arcall finally, what is this? Oh no, he gets the Metamorphosis and just uses it. Now he's chasing, he's just gonna die now.
All right, that's a lot of shield HP and a big gamble that it will stand as he goes in, fully committing with the Aquatic Leap, and Padaria just says, I mean, okay,
no, he's dead.
Here.
No, he's dead.
There's the water wall, and your prediction does come true.
Even with no mana, Mixer J had no mana, Mudini had very little mana. It didn't matter.
It was, I'll tell you why you did it, because it distracted, it locked 4 people down, and Cream just got the top tower.
Well, okay, fine. He got a little bit. I can give you that.
But grudging, okay, fine, emerges.
It's still 5-0. It's still 2.5K gold lead here.
Okay, fine. Cream Esports want to keep that gold lead short. They'll do so by clearing the wave, and if they get the opportunity, challenging for this Abyssal.
Okay, you do have a point though. For INTZ, they need to put these kills and gold lead into towers. They need to consolidate it, or else none of this matters.
Cream will group up, challenging near this
That
Abyssal.
damage.
Yeah, that's a Murad, by the way. It's been a while. Bot lane tower will fall. This should mean the Abyssal is an easy grab.
He already has that Astral Spear and the Soul Reaver, or Mr. Savvy, speaking of Murad, getting massive damage out onto Arcall.
Arcall was trying to do what is a pretty decent chance of stealing using the Metamorphosis. It's a big burst ability, but he was just chased away by that Murad.
Yeah, and these little guys on the side of INTZ are dealing the damage that I thought they would.
Neo in, Mark Punch goes wide. He's focusing on wave clear now. Super speed spent to get away. That cannon minion will hit tower, but it should be cleared up.
Cleared up, but Cream is just licking the runes at the moment as they're suffering in this game. We talked about the big bodies inside the Cream, but we didn't talk about the little bodies on the side of INTZ. They have the protection from the Alice, from the Sephira, and from the Xenial.
Did Neo just get stunned mid-super speed?
You can do that these days.
Mixer J, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Nice use of Sunshine. Myth will push the tower up top. Benja and Arcol are here to defend. They've got a lot of pressure.
Are they?
But they won't deploy it. Now they're in trouble. There's the water wall. Benja just needs to bail. Arcol forced to spend Metamorphosis. He'll try and brawl. The rest of the team is not joining them, instead focusing on mid-lane pressure.
Well, good distraction from him, though. Like you mentioned, in the mid lane, they're pushing in, and INTZ is being reactive.
Yeah, they've left the Murad up top just to push lane. Now INTZ drift back mid to try and hold. It'll be a shock away from Frey. He'll get to safety.
Good trade overall from Cream, but looks like they're in trouble once more.
Gret caught out and assassinated by Myth, laying down another dimension. When he crosses the edge of that circle, he takes big burst.
Cream cannot continue to be caught out here. This is really hurting them, and now they're losing the towers. That was the only thing they were holding on to.
Neo goes in with the Cyclone for the wave clear, will not get it. That means the tower's gone. Oh, and he's just picked up.
Just falls to the ground like a sad puppet.
Wow, okay.
Well, look at the physics, the ragdoll.
Okay, sure. Frey falls down. I was just curious as to how many sad puppets you'd seen.
Well, Flash is one of them.
All right. Pressure coming through from INTZ across the map now. They have the Murad pressing up top, then pressuring mid and bot lane simultaneously, clearing out a lot of jungle.
INTZ in full control of this game. As long as they don't take a 5v5, they are fine. And even in that case, they have the defense to them.
Why are Cretan still fighting?
I don't know. 4v2.
There is no way you win that 2v4.
Yeah, 2v4, and they have less gold on each and every one of their members. That is not one I want to take. Neo has to use a Cyclone just to get away.
They're down to the high ground in mid lane. Tier 2's in the Dragon and Slayer lane.
Look at this build from Alice. She's going damage now after that initial Essence of the Wind.
Well, it's doing a lot. Frey gets actually chunked by that Sunshine.
Just styling on them now.
Benja rotates through, makes her J scared back for a moment.
Once this Apocalypse comes out from the Sephra, it's going to be major damage coming out.
I thought you meant once the Apocalypse comes through to the Allens, I had to do a double take.
No, just the Frosty's Revenge. So she's going straight for that.
Has anyone ever tried that? I'm just spitballing ideas here.
It is a lot of damage, but she's going for the Frosty's Revenge. And the reason why you go for that is because of the massive slows that it offers. And it really makes it feel like you're walking through quicksand.
Here is the Dark Slayer up for grabs. Mixer J in trouble. Metamorphosis through. Can they steal? Oh, yes! They does get secured. INTZ walk away with the Dark Slayer. Now INTZ can turn the tables if they can get out, only losing Myth, the only player to fall so far. Padaria is diving in. He'll actually turn this fight. Frey's gone. Fusion hovers in the back of this fight and just lays in the damage. Crave lose everything. Neo bails. Benja's recalling already, and there's a Drake to push down the mid lane.
Cream gets Myth on the Murad, but that's all they get as they are unable to even touch Fusion. The Angelic Splendor comes out, the Tide of Life comes out. He is as healthy as can be and laying down his damage.
Benja will dip out after trying to get close enough to clear away of the Water Spirits, and the Drake itself doing so much damage. That tower in the Dragon lane does fall. The tower in mid will be challenged. Frey going in with a shock, trying to clear a wave as quick as he can. The tower's been kept to half HP by Benja's heroic efforts. Fusion now doesn't have the minions, so he can do the extra tower damage, but Myth will dive in anyway. Arcol stunned up twice, narrowly survives, and the tower will fall, even without the wave to enforce it.
Don't even need the wave if you have the Drake there.
Now the pressure from Myth towards the core. Frey knocked very low. Arcol through the Angelic Splendor. Heals up the side. Arcol's gone. There's the Cyclone. Gret tries to combo, but the Tides of Life ignore it all. And INTZ will wash over the core, taking game number 1 in a dominant 10-minute victory.
A nearly flawless performance. Look at those health bars, TJ. Everyone is just full health. They clearly don't have US health insurance. They're feeling great.
And as TJ spits his tea all over the desk, we say congratulations to INTZ, Esports Club and Latin American Games. Don't hang around.
Victory number
Let's come
1
back to this
for
and see the state of that next
socialized
to me.
medicine.
That was over. Like, short, soon, done, and Cream Esports Club suffering now in both sides of two of our regions.
Sorry, TJ.
Huge performance by INTZ. And I'm an Englishman. I hate to see tea going to waste such as it has, but it was funny, so it's okay. Yeah, big, strong performance. That was good. Are you going to give Star Player to Fusion now, or do you want to give them a second game, show what they can do?
Well, I might give it to support. You know I love giving it to support who protects the ADC. But like I mentioned, that game, every single time it feels like they have the perfect setup for an engage, like you were talking about, oh, the shock into the metamorphosis, into the bracelets of submission. The problem is getting there. Not only is it hard to get that 5v5 team fight, but just the early game when you're walking around, you're lumbering around with multiple heroes who have to be together or else they can't really do much. That is problematic against a nimble team that you just saw them go against. And not only were they nimble, they had protection. They had Alice, they had Xenia, they had the Sephira.
And they were trying to use that Omen, it felt like, as their split-pushing source, as the character that could get around the map and maybe find a few more openings. And that worked in the early game, but it was only one character, and the second that the fights actually started to be forced elsewhere, the Omen simply was not enough to keep pace.
And jokes aside, the healing, which is absolutely nuts, as they won the game with everyone full health. You never see that.
And that was the Angelic Splendor from Bataria coming through the last moment. I asked, how will he do swapping round on the roles? He's picking up the support. Well, very well.
good hero.
And
this was dicey.
I legitimately, I was confused for a moment because I didn't see the final blow come through, but it was Fusion that picked it up. You can see because he gets the Drake. One final penetrating shot was fired from the very edge of range, and that's what stole it from the Metamorphosis.
You can't really blame INTZ too hard here, even though they were really risky with that Dark Slayer take.
They should have had it, frankly.
Right. The thing is, even though they took it, they were in a compromising position. If they weren't ahead 8,000 gold, then maybe they wouldn't have been in trouble. But they weren't ahead 8,000 gold, so, you know, you can get a little bit lax at that point.
I love here the Sephira just showing off that they can completely ignore everything coming through and undoing the damage that could have been dealt by Neo's Cyclone. But Neo was the primary source of damage for the team. That mid lane flash definitely did step up. 32% of the team's damage, though it wasn't much, it was the best that Cream had to offer.
Yeah, I would like to instead look at the amount, which is 30,000, and that's less than 3 members on the side of INTZ. Sure, he did the damage, but he was in a position where he had to do all of the damage, and he only did 33%.
What about, I mean, if you're saying that Neo's okay on Flash there, how do you feel about Gret on Wonder Woman?
The Gret was reasonable. The composition just was doomed to fail from the beginning, I feel like.
Hey, can I shout about something? The numbers are gone now, but Mixer J on the Alice did more damage than most of the players opposing them. Cream, actually, we're back now. You can see Mixer J did more damage than anyone besides Neo opposing him.
And almost as much as Flash, and Mixer J is playing as Alice.
Yeah.
Mage
That's not
Alice.
supposed to happen. Mage Alice.
Okay, to be fair, the build he was going with is pretty standard. He rushed for the Frosty's Revenge, and you don't get that for the damage, you get that for the massive slow. When you lay down that hissy fit with the slow inside, it is extremely difficult to walk away.
Yeah, if you take a look, you can see exactly that, starting with the Essence of the Wind, and then shifting over towards Mage damage.
Hello, this is a new build here from Fusion going for the Beast. If you guys don't know, with the Beast, you can actually heal. Yeah, lifesteal, and not just physical lifesteal. It actually provides magic lifesteal as well as of 2 patches ago. But it is nerfed, or excuse me, they changed up Telenos' kit slightly so that she doesn't get as much lifesteal from the magic. That would be a little bit broken, but it's still a major source of that lifesteal. So if you combine that with, you know, Desticle, which perhaps was the last item here, the one she's going for now is Muramasa. The last item could have been Desticle, and that would have perhaps helped Fusion stay alive through these fights.
A good performance stuff from INTZ.